So we are going to react to this ongoing Indian and Pakistani war going on. Good take on the Operation Sindoor. This is from the, I believe it's the Finding Out Now YouTube website. I'm going to go put a link on that in the description. So here we go.
Sleeping quietly on the night of the 7th of May 2025.
Yeah, India, okay. India.
Pakistan was sleeping quietly on the night of the 7th of May 2025. Then, at 1:05 a.m., everything changed.
Oof.
India launched airstrikes on 9 different spots across Pakistan and Pak.
Wow.
India says over 70 militants were killed. Pakistan's now calling it an act of war.
Well,
don't forget, both countries have nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
So the big question is, will Pakistan strike back?
Well, this video is made 23 hours ago, and I think it's an ongoing. I think Pakistan is also, retaliating from that. And if you guys want to know what happened and how this kind of escalated to where we're at now, Finding Out Now video, the YouTube channel, he had a explanation. So the rundown in that is the Pakistan are majority of Muslim. Hindu are majorities in India. So the Muslims militant actually went into India and killed innocent people. So India retaliated by targeting those militants. See, that's the thing though. All those the terrorists, just like what happened to like in with Gaza and Israel going on right now, and how it started on October 7th, where the Hamas started killing innocent people, and then in retaliation, Israel, hunted down those Hamas and those who was responsible. So that's what happened. Is like they terrorist targets civilians and innocent people. That's like what happened with this Pakistani and Indian war. So, yeah.
On April 22nd in Kashmir, 4 terrorists crossed over to Pakistan and opened fire on tourists, killing 26 people.
Sheesh.
All across India, people are furious. They marched in protest.
Yeah.
After that, India took a calmer approach. They stopped talks with Pakistan and froze the river water pact that sends water from India to Pakistan. Pakistan didn't take it lying down. Their leaders shot back. If you block our water, you'll have blood in those rivers. The Indian Prime Minister gave full permission to pick targets, make plans, and act as they saw fit. Intelligence agencies went to work tracking down those terrorists, and the army took its positions along the border. Fighter jets ran drills in the sky, warships patrolled the waters, and soldiers loaded their weapons. Pakistan was on high alert. Nobody there was getting much sleep. It felt like everyone knew something big was coming.
Well, yeah. You have to understand India is pretty big in comparison to like Pakistan, the army, size and just equipment and all that. I mean, India's stuff is just dwarfs the Pakistani's, military equipments and all that. And I think I heard that Pakistan is actually rely on China to give them weapons and stuff, and India is actually getting some or majority of their equipments from the U.S. So there you go. We got to test it out, or they're testing it out. And there's a whole new conspiracies on this about how we started, because all the tariff with Trump's tariffs and all that in China, and that caused the manufacturer to move to India, especially iPhones. Now, there's speculations and conspiracy theorists and saying that China might be involved on this attack, I don't know. That could be, I don't, you know, you never know.
On the night of May 7th, 2025, Pakistan was quiet and dark. Most people were asleep in their homes. Then at exactly 1:05 a.m., the whole mood changed. Indian jets lifted off from their runways. In total, they launched 24 rockets. These missiles flew fast and true toward 9 hidden militant camps.
Yeah.
Some camps were tucked away in the hills of Pakistan, administered Kashmir. Others lay out in farming areas in Punjab. India's planners had picked these sites carefully because they believed this is where the militants were. Within minutes, each missile hit its mark.
Yeesh.
In Muzaffarabad, locals heard deep booms and saw tall clouds of smoke. In Kotli and Shakagar, flames lit up dark fields. In Ahmedpur Shakia, villagers ran outside to find the ground shaking and dust rising where a camp once stood. Indian leaders say they aimed only at the camps. No homes, schools, or army bases were touched.
See, that's the thing, though. You know, unlike the Gaza, the Hamas, which they hide under or behind this, you know, the citizens and the innocent people, and those innocent people actually don't have a choice. You either they use you as a shield, or nothing. You can't really. They have no choice. You know, either way, you're gonna die. So, or they're willingly to die. You know what I mean? So that's the difference between this. But still, it's not the different because, again, India is fighting the radical Muslims, just like how Israel is fighting radical Muslims in Gaza.
They made sure the attack was precise to spare ordinary people. By 1:25 a.m., the final missile fell into its target and the attack was over. Back at Indian command centers, officers watched their screens and saw that the operation went as planned. The jets returned to base. Over the border, Pakistan's reaction was quick and intense. Air raid sirens screamed in cities. Soldiers ran to their stations. Radar dishes turned to track the skies. Families woke up in panic, huddling in basements or rushing into the streets. No one slept that night. By morning, the news came out. India says about 50+ militants were killed in the strikes. Pakistan's leaders condemned the attack as an act of war and warned they might respond soon. Masood Azhar was one of India's top terror targets. Intelligence said he helped plan the April 22nd attack in Pahalgam and ran training camps in Pakistan administered Kashmir. When India struck on May 7th, they aimed at his hideout near Kotli, hitting 9 spots with 24 precision missiles. But Azhar wasn't there. He'd slipped away just hours earlier. Tragically, about 10 of his family members were killed when their house next to the...
This is the thing, though. Here is my beef on the Pakistan's government, you know. Why not just say that you will help India to put or to hunt down them terrorists, you know, and join forces to get rid of all those terrorists, you know? Why respond to such a bold kind of in defiant way that you want to go to war because India just want to, you know, kill those who are responsible for those attacks? Why not just say that? You know, so Pakistan, to me though, the Pakistan government is actually also or knowingly that they know that, you know, those attacks, or they have some. I'm not going to say they're responsible, but I'm just saying maybe they knew it. That's just my take, you know.
Camp was struck. As for Azhar himself, no one knows for sure what happened to him during the raid. He could still be alive, hiding somewhere, or maybe might have been injured or killed later. And this isn't the only clash that happened between India and Pakistan. On September 18th, 2016, 4 militants slipped across the line of control from Pakistan into Uri, Kashmir. Under cover of darkness, they breached the camp fence and opened fire on sleeping soldiers. By the time help arrived, 19 Indian soldiers were dead and over 30 wounded. The attackers then vanished back across the border. India reacted with outrage, blaming Pakistan-based groups for the raid. Diplomatic ties and some trade with Pakistan were scaled back immediately. India's surgical strikes 10 days later, on the night of September 28th to 29th, India launched surgical strikes against militant camps across the line of control. Quiet planning intelligence pinpointed the exact locations of 7 militant launch pads. Only top commanders knew the plan. Stealth crossing after midnight. Para-special forces teams crossed the line of control on foot, avoiding patrols in rough terrain. Precision raids. They hit each camp with explosives and grenades, destroying bunkers, weapons, and communication gear. Brief firefights broke out, but the strikes were over in minutes. Swift withdrawal. Troops pulled back across the border quickly, leaving flattened camps behind. Public reveal. At dawn on September 29th, India announced it had destroyed the launch pads and killed a significant number of militants with no Indian casualties. Pakistan denied any incursion, calling India's claims propaganda. Global leaders urged both sides to avoid escalation, warning that conflict between 2 nuclear powers could be disastrous. On February 14th, 2019, a suicide bomber from the militant group Jaish-e-Mohammed rammed an explosive-laden SUV into a convoy of India's Central Reserve Police Force, CRPF, near Pulwama in Indian-administered Kashmir. The convoy was carrying about 78 vehicles and nearly 2,500 officers on their way to provide security for local elections. The blast happened around 3:15 p.m., ripping through one of the buses. Tragically, 40 CRPF personnel lost their lives.
Oh, wow.
And more than 60 were injured.
So, yeah, he's just going through probably the history between Pakistan and India. What do I say about that? Well, I got nothing to say about that, but to say that this is, it's sort of a kind of religious war, between Hindu and Muslim extremists. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
The attack was one of the deadliest against Indian security forces in decades and sparked a widespread anger and grief across India. Wow. India's response? Just days later, on February 26th, India launched Operation Swift Retort under cover of darkness before dawn. Indian Air Force Mirage 2000 jets crossed the line of control and dropped precision bombs on what they called a Jaish training camp in Balakot, Pakistan-administered Kashmir. India said it had struck the camp where the Pulwama attackers were trained. Pakistan scrambled its air defenses, and in a brief dogfight, both sides claimed to have downed enemy aircraft. One Indian MiG-21 Bison was shot down and its pilot was captured, though he was returned safely to India 2 days later. Pakistan also reported losing one F-16 jet, but India denied this claim. And now, on May 7th, 2025, India called its airstrike Operation Sindoor. In Hindu tradition, a husband applies Sindoor, vermilion, to his wife's hair, part as a sign of love and marriage. The name honors the memory of the Pahalgam attack victim whose husband was killed. His widow's Sindoor marks her loss. India was quick to say its May 7th strikes were aimed only at terrorists, not at Pakistan itself. Operation Sindoor targeted militant camps and training facilities, not civilian areas or military bases. But Pakistan didn't stop there. In Islamabad, top security officials have been holding emergency meetings around the clock, weighing their options. Publicly, Pakistani leaders have reminded everyone that their country is a nuclear power and that their missiles are built to be used, not just stored in silos.
So is India.
I'm not here to push any site's agenda. I just want to bring you the real facts from the ground. And your one like and subscribe motivates me and my team. The tension is real on the ground. Almost immediately after Operation Sindoor, Pakistani forces opened heavy artillery fire across the line of control.
Oh wow, that's a mistake. Yeah, that's see what I mean. I said in the beginning, like earlier, that they would rather go to war with India to rather than helping India to put those people who are responsible for those killings and you know, killing civilians. Rather than that, they would rather go to war with India. This is kind of tells me that that they want this, that Pakistan's really want this war with India. You know, you know what I mean? It's just doesn't make sense to me.
Today, the Indian government said that Pakistan struck back on the night of May 8th, firing drones and missiles at places like Srinagar, Jammu, and Amritsar. India's air defense system shot down every threat, and destroyed drones and missiles are being collected as proof. Early this morning, India hit back at Pakistan's air defense radars, knocking out at least one system near Lahore. Along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan also fired mortars and heavy artillery into border villages in Poonch and Rajouri. Local officials report that at least 15 civilians, including women and children, were killed in the shelling, with 43 more injured. India's leaders are watching Pakistan's movements closely. India's military remains on high alert along the border, with fighter jets scrambling on training missions and troops reinforcing forward positions. The Prime Minister has publicly said that India wants peace, but will not hesitate to defend itself. Ordinary Pakistani citizens, already struggling with high inflation and a shaky economy, now face the added fear that a full-scale war could break out at any moment. People report sleeping with one ear open for sirens, and families are quietly stockpiling food and water just in case. For now, both countries are locked in dangerous standoff. India insists it struck only terrorists. Pakistan insists it has the right to respond. Meanwhile, ordinary people on both sides of the border watch and wait, hoping the crisis ends without sliding into open war. Will Pakistan reply with full force military action? I never imagined my last video would go viral. Thank you for all the responses. If you haven't seen it yet, the link is in the description. That's all for today. Stay alert and see you soon.
Well, yeah, what he laid out is actually, you know, things that I already know. I already watched countless videos regarding that. So it was nice of him to put things together. Like I said, I'm going to put the link, or I'm going to put that link in the descriptions below. So, all right, well, until next time, we'll keep an eye out. I mean, I hope YouTube doesn't flag this, because YouTube does not like, you know, war-related content. You know, I'm just reacting to it. Whatever. All right. Thank you. Keep it here.